Hey guys, and welcome to this week's show. Yeah, we're a little bit late this week, and I do apologize for that. We were double parked on a couple of projects at the same time, but we're now fully focused on what went down 2 weeks ago, and that was the penultimate round of Farm Jam out at the now classic race venue of Sgt. Pepper's. We love that place. Since Farm Jam went on the road and went all hair scrambly on us, it's been a standout favorite, and they got it absolutely dialed in. They repositioned it in the calendar this year, so it wasn't going to be a mud bog, and it turned out to be a spectacular day. Stay tuned after this as well, because we're going to be talking a lot about what's coming up in the racing month of August. Right now, enjoy the show. This is Farm Jam, round number 4 of their 5-round championship out of Sgt. Pepper's. All this Farm Jam hair scramble racing action was proudly brought to you by Vans Racing, in association with VW Mastercars Hatfield, Stack Ups, V3 Designs, ANCAT Engineering, and SVR Innovations. It's Sgt. Pepper's. It's the penultimate round of Farm Jam in 2024. All right, so here we are, round number 5. That's the penultimate round of the Farm Jams. Leon, great to come back to Sgt. Pepper's, and I think the timing of the year is spot on.
Yeah. Last year we were here in the summer months, and it was wet. So this time around it's a little bit drier, and thanks to Sgt. Pepper, the guys, they're expanding. Every time I get here, they build a nice deck out this side, so it's lucky to be back here.
FJ and the Vans Racing guys always stepping up the game. Tell us about the distances we're working here and some of the time predictions you got.
The juniors, they got a 12k loop, 28 minutes a lap, yeah, somewhere in that region.
Happy with the entries this time of year?
Yeah, no, entries looks fantastic. We always got the support of certain people that come to Farm Jam, and it's lekker. You see all the faces every time, it's lekker. I love it.
We'll see you as we go farm jamming once again. Morning session, all about the juniors and the ladies. Let's head to the pits.
How are you? All right. What's your name?
Ethan Preston.
Ethan Preston. So you're riding in the 50 class?
Yes.
Is this your first time?
Yes.
Oh wow. Are you excited?
Yes.
What do you think the track's going to be like?
I don't really know because I haven't came for a while yet.
Okay. Well, have a safe one, and we'll see you out there.
I think this is going to be a nice race, and the last Farm Jam, I hope I'll get good points so that I can be in the top 3, and that it will be very fun, and I have nice competition like Alonso, Ascendina, and I think we'll enjoy it. I think it's going to be a nice track because I saw the whole shot and it looks pretty nice.
I've seen some of the markers. There's a river crossing right here at the start, It looks quite nice with all the rocks and quite good in the rocks. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, after last round, I won last round, so I'm hoping to get another win. And
Good luck for today. We'll see you afterwards.
It is my first time out.
Okay.
Last Sunday, for the first time, I actually rode for the first time since last year. So yesterday morning, I received an email. Thank you for your entry. So my husband pranked me, so I never backed down. So that's why I'm here today. I don't know really what to expect. I think it's going to be quite nice. I'm going to take the ice cream loop. Definitely not chilly today. So we'll see what happens.
Hi, jong, ek het gesien hier's redelik baie klippe. Dit gaan verseker nie so baie modderig wees soos die vorige keer nie. So ons hoop die stof werk lekker saam met ons. Maar verder as dit verwag ons maar soos elke ander een redelik tegnies. En dan verder as dit net om 'n lekker dag te hê.
Exciting morning session and a brand new whole shot queue, where everyone was going to be going underneath the deck at the bottom end of Sergeant Pepper's. Everyone knew what was on the cards. It was whole shot racing. And we were underway with our Pro 85s, where Werner Kleinams pulled the big cheese. Himself and Ben van Skalkbeek got a good job going there, with Derek van Aspergen just battling to get the launch off the queue. Queen Catherine Mostert for the ANCAT Racing Squad, led all of the ladies out over the first copy. Some ladies danced straight up, some ladies battling with the rocks early on. 85 juniors always going to be the wildest gate of the day. Pierre Kutsia got his nose ahead, but not for long until Mullet Man made the pass. Pro 65s, the whole shot machine, Jean-Luc van der Vesthuizen got it done ahead of Zach Attack Stubbs, Derek Milan and Declan Richards. Pro 65s were going to be eating their way up the road into the 85 juniors. Junior 65s, DC Daniel and Alonso Ashadina would be doing the big numbers to stray ahead of Tunis. On the 50s, the reigning champ Ian van Rensburg for SVR Racing. His challenge on the day was to see how high he could climb in the 65 juniors. Let's talk to Leon about what was ahead. The morning session is going to be all about the juniors and the ladies and Pro 85s. Leon, let's talk about the junior route. Obviously, I went out there yesterday, and I think it's got a really good feel to it.
Yeah, it's a nice flowy ride for the juniors. The Pro 85s and ladies are going to be tested a little bit more this time around. Our chilies and ice creams are definitely chili and ice cream this time around. But we're getting to that stage of the end of the year where the guys' technical riding is improved, and we need to test them. So that's what's going to happen today.
A fantastic layout of a track. Certainly, the rocks would open up in the morning session and allow things to roll a little bit smoother as the race wore on. A couple of the juniors unable to complete the first lap. That was Ethan Preston and Marcel Paxton. But Blake Kruger is improving every single time he goes out there. He got 2 laps under his belt on probably the most technical terrain he has raced. Ian van Rensburg, too tall as we call him now, starting to get himself nice and brave as he eyes up the move into Junior 65s. For now, he is still the guy to beat on the 50cc's as he runs the numbers off the front once again. In the 65 juniors, which is the gate that he will be climbing up to next season, Riley Skierpers had a couple of small moments out there, but still got it done with a number 5, with Julian van der Berg up the road from him. Top man on the Yamaha, getting it done with 4 laps under his belt. A perfect track for the juniors to work their way around a lot of the grasslands, and a little bit of extra work in the koppies and the forests at the bottom end of Sergeant Pepper's. Van der Berg did a good enough job for 4th place, with DC Daniel, our whole shotter, dropping down with eventually a number 3 position, but stayed on the lead lap and inside of a minute of the back wheel of eventual 2nd place runner Connor Tunis. Connor didn't get the best gate that he wanted to in the morning session, but he managed to move up early on lap number 1 to put himself into the hunt and move forward and chase down on the rest of the riders out there. Tunis, Daniel and Ashadina, the class of the field, with Ashadina putting 4 minutes into his closest rival this time around. So Ashadina, very adept in the more technical style of riding and good enough in the high-speed flatlands. He'll be moving up nicely in his championship challenge as we go forward into the double points round at the end of the season, just under a month's time. 85 juniors, always going to be the wild gate of the morning session with the biggest numbers going out there. The majority of the riders inside of the top 5 staying on the lead lap of 5 laps under the belt. Jay Eels just outside of that with 4 laps and a number 6 position. Ulrich van Asviken working on his technical riding skills. Very strong in the flatlands and the motocross styles and just starting to develop into the rocks. Gilbert Person, 4th place. Consistent and solid on the season so far in the Farm Jam Hare Scrambles for 2024. And looking like he is not too far off breaking inside the top 3. The top 3 on the day, though, were a class ahead, putting 10 minutes into their closest rivals. Wilco de Plooi, in his first season on the 85s, looking very tasty. Himself, Pierre Kutsia and Liam Skeepers in the early laps were separated by less than a minute until things started to open up after the halfway knuckle and fueling strategy came into play. Plooi, Kutsia and Skeepers putting on a great show in the morning session. Eventually, de Plooi would have to settle for the number 3 position with a race time of 1 hour and 55 minutes. Pierre Kutsia, even though he ran the whole shot in the early days, there was a lot of chopping and changing in the Chilean ice cream splits, where the junior 85s put on an incredible show to show us how close the competition really is. The splits on the Chilean ice cream showing us exactly how it is done. And Skeepers seems to get his strategy just a little bit better than the rest, putting just over 2 minutes into his closest rival to take the win once again. We chatted to Mullet Man.
Yo, Mullet Man, another day, another dollar, hey?
Yeah, it was very nice. It was a little bit in the beginning. I was struggling a bit with the tech, but I got it.
Tell me how the track actually opened up. It looks like it was running much faster.
Yeah, the rocks got out of the way, but in the first 2 laps it was so sketchy because you were just kicking you all over the place. And I just want to say big thanks to Heimel, Maximum, my mom and my dad, Gravel Pit, and Gwenweining.
Sparky, tell me about your day. That was a ripper, hey?
Yes, it was between me, Liam and Wilco in the first stage of the race, but Liam got ahead of us, and every lap I took the chili they got stuck into the trees here, so I made up some time, but in the flank sections I really give it to Liam.
Ian, tell me about the track and how it suited on the 50s. Was it hard work?
Yes, very. I love the track. It's a bit thick, but I love it.
Tell me about the competition out there. How many of the 65s did you get?
I think maybe 3, 4, 5.
Love it.
Well done.
Little Ian chuffed with his journey on the day. These are the guys that he's going to have to chase down in the future, though. On the 85 juniors, Mullet Man Skeepers gets ahead of Kutsia and de Plooi. They put on a big show in the morning session. Those 3 riders all over each other. In the junior 65s, Alonso Ashadina gets his big win ahead of Tunes and Daniel. Those are the guys that will be dicing for the championship. On the 50cc's, Ian van Rensburg from SVR Racing beats out on Kruger, Paxton and Preston for the 50s. Moving forward into our junior pro categories and the ladies. We'll kick things off with the 65 pros who were on fire once again in the morning session. 5 laps and extremely fast lap times in one of the most technical layouts of the tracks that we have seen. Low Lombard getting a good run of form going with a number 5. Zack Attack Stubbs, incredible to see this kid move up so quickly and confidently from the 50s into the 65s. Himself and Derek Milan were all over each other. In fact, the top 5 riders were very closely matched on the day. No one stretched things out too far and everyone stayed on the lead lap. The big dice in the morning session was going to be JL, that's Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, his good buddy Declan Richards, Derek Milan and Stubbs. Everyone stayed together nicely on laps 1 and 2 until fueling strategy, just general pace, clicked in. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen was putting on a show. He went for all of the chili lines that were available to him. And his good buddy Declan Richards moved up nicely throughout the day as well to slot himself into a number 2 spot. But it was the machine, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, back on top in the 65 pros. 85cc pros out there on the big lap and good numbers coming into play as well. Morgan Daly got 8. Number 7 coming in for Alexander Compan. And then as we climbed up the ladder inside the top 6, everyone on the lead lap of 4 laps under their belt. Caleb van der Westhuizen in at number 6, one of his best rides of the season. Joubert van Niekerk and then Werner Kleinams. Kleinams having some problems on the day with a hole shot in the early morning and then problems late on, dropping him down outside of the top 3. Ben van Schalkwyk, second place out of the gate, only dropped 1 position throughout the day and has definitely found his groove. In the early laps, himself and Mackenzie Bam, who's come back into Farm Jam Racing with us in 2024, we're putting on a big show, running within 30 seconds of each other pretty much the whole way through the day. Bam's fitness and technical prowess shone through though as the laps went on. She eventually walked away with a solid number 2 spot, only losing out to eventual race winner Derek van Asverken by over a minute. Van Asverken, so adept in the high-speed flatland and motocross style, but using Farm Jam to develop his technical skills and coming on in leaps and bounds as he becomes a massive threat in the championship going forward into the final round. For the ladies, it was tough going in some of the technical zones, but everyone enjoyed their time out there. Carla Breitenbach, unfortunately not able to make lap number 1. Michaela Joubert, 1 lap under her belt. Shelley Compon comes back into racing and picks one of the best racers on the tour to make her comeback trail. 3rd place for Compon. Taneshka Tienessen, she started her racing career out here at the original Farm Jams, racing on a KX85. Now she's on a full-size machine. She got 2 laps under her belt and a number 2 position to get herself back into the tasty world of Farm Jam Hare Scramble racing. Catherine Mostert, she's had a couple of girls to play with on the season. This time around, she was in a class of her own, putting the rest of the competition 2 laps down. The Queen continues her run of incredible form in 2024 to take the win at the penultimate round. Here's confirmation of Queen Cat for ANCAT Racing on the top step once again. Taneshka Tienessen gets her result of a number 2 to get herself back onto race pace ahead of Compon. In the 85 Pros, Derek van Asverken starting to show that he is developing as a technical rider, beating out on Bam van Schalkwyk into the number 3 spot. The machine that is Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen takes the win in the 65cc Pros ahead of his good buddy Richards, Milan, Stubbs and Lombard. All this Farm Jam Hare Scramble racing action was proudly brought to you by Vans Racing in association with VW Mastercars Hatfield, Stack Ups, V3 Designs, ANCAT Engineering, and SVR Innovations. VW Mastercars Hatfield is a partner of Farm Jam Racing. And as always, they've got some amazing specials. Get yourself the brand new Polo from VW Mastercars Hatfield in Pretoria and only start paying at the beginning of 2025. This is an amazing deal for all of our youngsters who are coming out of the 125s, maybe up into the 250s and looking for car number 1. So get on up to VW Mastercars Hatfield and check out the new Polo Vivo. Amazing deals coming thick and fast from our friends out there at VW Mastercars Hatfield. Back to the racing action and into the afternoon session where we start getting ready for the big race. In previous years, we've been racing out in the mud. This was nice and dry, dusty and open. This was going to be a fun afternoon session as we got ready for the big gates. As always, we headed down to the pits to talk to some nervous faces.
Juice, you know this track, Brew. How are you feeling today?
Good, eh? I'm looking forward to this one. Ready to go, eh?
Tell me about, obviously we know that the chili and ice creams are going to be pretty big today. There's going to be a huge difference.
Yeah, I'll stick my neck out a little on this one. I need points. So I'm going to go chili as far as possible.
You've got to get through the start maze first, buddy.
That's for sure, yeah. I need to get through the start clean and then whack it.
Brother, you had a good gate and now you've decided to go onto the smoker. Tell me the story.
A little bit rocks, so I'm going to the smoker side now for a little bit lighter and more maneuverable. So yeah, I'm going a little bit lighter, see if there's more space to go in front. That's the plan. So I hope I stick with it.
I think this is perfect terrain, brother.
Yes, I hope so, man. Yes, this rocks. I hate rocks, but let's do this.
Brother, I haven't seen you out of one of these for a while, eh?
Okay, yeah, it's been a bit of a minute, work, life, everything. But it's nice to be back here. We came here last year,
It was a bit muddy last year, it wasn't great. Bit of a bottleneck everywhere, but we'll see how it goes today. It looks dry, it looks nice, weather's great, so I'm ready for the game.
Neil, bit of a surprise result of the last Farm Jam, so I think there's a bit of pressure on you this time.
Yes, Matt, there's a little bit of pressure. The moment I see there is some potential, I pushed. I've recovered from operation, as you know. The chicken wing is feeling much better, but this is one of my favorite tracks, and I think this is going to be a fast one, faster than the previous one. I think whoever gets the whole shot is gonna have a clean air.
Dude, tell me about the background, because we see these great new faces coming to the FJs. You've got a story to tell.
Yeah, I've definitely got a story to tell. So it's my first time riding my motorbike this year, and I just flew from the Netherlands yesterday. I did the cross-country racing season, so just been on my mountain bike training like flat out. But yeah, now switching to the motorbike. Not sure what's going to happen today, but it should be fun now.
Big Dad, we call him Dolph, you know that? He obviously tells you what it's about.
Yeah, my dad knows everything about the Farm Jams, and he likes riding in I think it's the Masters class or whatever it is. But yeah, hopefully today I'll give him a run for his money as well, or see him on course.
Brother, I'm seeing you every weekend this year. You're ticking off FJs this time.
Yeah, I think this is where it all started. You know, as a lighty, Farm Jams back in Middelburg, Ermelo. So it all started. It starts with the regional, having fun, and progressed to what it's now.
Yeah.
I
mean, what it is now, you're on a hell of a journey at the moment, dude.
Yeah, it's been a big journey. A week ago we got the green ticket for Dakar. So yeah, we nervous and excited, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Do me a favor, don't polish your elbows on these rocks, dude.
I'm gonna keep everything intact, take it easy, and just have fun.
Gavo, 4th round of the FJs, and you've made them your own this year, hey?
Yeah, we've had a pretty good season on these somehow. Not too sure what I did, but it's been working. Out here to have fun today, try some of the chilly routes, see how it goes, and yeah, pretty much just try keeping that top 3.
Roo, coming out of the last FJ, saw glimpses of that old magic once again.
Yeah, I got it back, but there's a fast guys, eh? Levan Smith, there's a few, John Bueta, they're enjoying their Farm Jams now, and I'm coming for them. I see the lap times was quite close. It's just a pity John got some troubles at the last one. I think he didn't have petrol at the last lap, took some chances, tried doing more than 3 laps, I think. I actually just made it on my 3rd lap with my 2-stroke. I'm actually quite impressed how far we can go on the bike. We'll see what we're going to do today. I think it's just under 20 k's a lap, and it looks quite interesting. I see Catherine, the Queen. She's doing very well, and I'm very proud of her. She's even hitting that jump, so it's quite cool, I must say.
Yep, the boys know what they've got to do as we take it to the line. Get everyone ready to go into the tight and technical hole shot queue. As always, the S1 Pros would be the first flag drop of the dead starts in the afternoon session. It's been a bit of a husky hole shot story the whole way through the season. John Buerta, Ruan Smith and Devon Smith, a KTM, the meat in the Husqvarna sandwich as they went out over the first copy. The S2 Pros, we were expecting to see the overalls possibly coming from this gate. Tyron Peltzer gets the job done ahead of Veris, Brendan Kutzer and Big Gav Young. In the S3 Pro category, everyone's going to be watching the back wheel of Ryan Peltzer as once again fires his 250 machine out front ahead of Felon, Language and Rom. Into the seniors, where Barnyard, Dwayne Barnard, where it all started, this is where he is now. He comes back into the Farm Jam family ahead of Milan, Detoy and Ponkita. For the Masters gate, Wayne Farmer gets his elbows up nice and early to beat out Jasper Lublinkov. Dolph Lundgren himself back into racing from across the border, along with Pierre Smith. That was going to be a war for the rest of the day. Into the S1 Amateurs, the biggest gate of the day as always, and Kai Lublinkov, that is the son of Jasper, gets it out ahead of Frans de Klerk. Before we go back into the S2 amateur categories, where once again these guys would be elbows up to see if they could climb the ladder. Upon riding the recce lap, it looked like it was going to be definitely an advantage to the smaller machines. The S3 Amateurs, Ian Minor gets the job done once again. Another clean hole shot, and he'll be climbing the ladder in the overalls early on in the loop to see what he could do in the end of the day results. The Grandmasters has been steadily growing throughout the championship. Big Gary Whitehouse on the gas, gets it out ahead of Joos Stassen. Stassen finally puts together a solid gate to get a good hole shot. In the S1 novice category, starting to see one or two people pushing the edges and going down. That rider going down, giving the advantage to Chad Eckhout. Into the S2 novice, another solid and busy gate. Everyone will be watching to see if Neil Olofse could repeat his ride from the previous round of the season. S3 novice, the number 11 of Dion Jacobs, stayed out of the chaos and ran the numbers. Look at the advantage it was to get the hole shot. He'd pull something like 5 seconds straight out of the gate. For the green races, we saw little Blake Kruger. Now it is chance for his dad, Chris Kruger, to shine as he would lead out on to the junior course. Let's chat to Leon about the afternoon. FJ and the Vans Racing guys always stepping up the game. Tell us about the distances we're working here and some of the time predictions you got.
Yeah, on the big loops, a 20k loop, I should think about a 35 minute. Fast Oaks maybe a 30.
We'll see you as we go farm jamming once again. Afternoon session was certainly going to be busy. The chili and ice cream splits were going to be utilized to make the clean passes. So let's go out there and climb the ladders as we work our way through the categories. The Mean Greenies, this is one of the concepts that the Farm Jam guys brought out, and it has been spectacular. New riders every single time going out to get a taste of what Farm Jam Hare Scramble racing is all about. We had 8 riders, Eric Naylor getting 1 lap under his belt, Desmond Cut getting 2 laps, and the rest starting to climb the ladder. Aubrey de Villiers walking away with a 6th place result on the day. Butch Eckhout, that's Chad's dad, getting the job done. Stayed on the lead lap with 4 laps under his belt. With Norman Ellis, also 4 laps. Good numbers and a 4th place position. If you guys are excited to see what Farm Jam is all about, come and line up in the green category in the afternoon session. You'll get to ride the junior loop that'll be nice and open from the morning session. And also be out there with the factory pros to share a little bit of land. Ella's in the number 4 spot. Earvold van Stad into a number 3 with Louis Lowe. He's taken a couple of wins in the green category throughout the season. But this time around, Chris Kruger, like his warehouse machine, got the better of him and took his green win. With the greenies out the way, let's climb the ladder into the novice categories. In the novice F3s, we saw a lot of tasty riders enjoying a little bit of showtime right next to the pits with a lot of options on the track. MJ Van Aert got the job done into a number 6 ride with Daniel Schwartz threading the needle close to the pits, jumping the chasm and allowing everyone else to work their way around the outside. Dion Jacobs, the Silver Surfer himself, getting the job done on the number 11. He got the whole shot cheese and dropped down a couple of positions throughout the afternoon of the race, but 4th place for the number 11 will keep him in his championship hunt. Milan van Kirk enjoyed his time on the track. A lot of riders coming back with big smiles on their faces. A perfect layout of a track. And the extensive work going into the chili and ice cream splits, keeping the racing flowing nicely. Milan van Kirk into a number 3 spot. Ethan Peltzer into 2nd. And Jan Hendrik van Staden gets his first Farm Jam win here at the 4th round of the series. Classy rider. A bit of a find on the day. Into the S2 novice category where we see a lot of comeback rides. Sean van Rensburg, the main man out of SVR Racing. Had a bit of a tough ride of it so far, but starting to break his way into the points at each round. 6th place, and he'll be happy with his ride on the day as well. Gerard Nell, solid numbers on the page for him, into a number 5 spot as he worked his way around this amazing track that was laid out here at Sgt. Pepper's. Modern Els on a number 4 position, 4 laps under his belt, and out there racing for just under 3 hours. Definitely had some fun in the saddle. Big Meg was back onto the saddle as well after a couple of seasons out. Normally a flatland rider, and starting to enjoy his time on a smoker and figure out what it is to go hare scramble racing. 3rd place shows that the skills are still there. Neil Olofse coming back from injuries as well as illness. The defending champion from round number 3 did a good job under the circumstances to piece it together for a number 2 ride. keep his name in the hat for the championship, but he had to bow down to Johan Munich, who put almost 5 minutes into Ulster to take his win on the category. The S1 novice gate was going to be a tricky one for the guys out there on the big bikes. It was going to be hard work in the saddle on some of the slower technical zones. Medium-sized Shane Nienaber from the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad showed that he can still rock it on the big bike as he walked away with number 6 ride. Franco Barnard into a number 5, taking the big Yamaha WR up the road, with Danny Webb working his way nicely through the tech zones. Bike of choice on the S1 gates was the 300 Smokers. Danny Webb took his KTM to a number 4 ride. Just over 2 hours and 30 minutes in the seat. Big Chad Eckhout walked away with a top run in the whole shot queue. Saw a little bit of clear air for some time. Didn't drop too far off the race pace throughout the day as well. Third place and inside of 2 hours and 30 in the saddle. Georgi Karathanasis has been making an incredible name for himself. A good run of form in the second half of the championship to run a number 2 spot, and he was only less than a minute off the back wheel of eventual race winner Frank Venter. Venter had his elbows up, and he saw his first win of the season here at Sgt. Pepper's. Let's go through the confirmation of our novice categories in the S1s. Venter ahead of Karathanasis, Eckhout, Webb, Barnard and Nienaber, with Rubenheimer just outside of the numbers on a number 7. S2 novice, Munich gets it ahead of round number 3 winner Ulofse, De Silva, Els, Nel and Van Rensburg, with Kaiser just outside of the top 6. Jan-Hendrik van Staden puts his name at the top of the charts in the S3 novice, ahead of Peltzer, Vanny Kirk, Jakob Swartz and Van Aert. And in the mean greenies, Chris Kruger gets his win ahead of multiple winning rider Louis Lowe, Van Stad, Ellis and Eckhout. De Villiers, a top 6. We build up as we start to climb the ladder into the rest of our categories. Into the amateurs now, starting things out with the S3 AMs. The Wild Bunch enjoyed their time in the saddle. All top 8 staying on the lead lap of 4 laps under the belt, showing that this was a really well put together track and everyone enjoyed their time in the saddle. Junior Oosthuizen just outside of the big points in a number 8, with Hansie van der Berg in a number 7 and Gustav de Vet taking a number 6. Janko Vanny Kirk and Camden Geyser were all over each other. That dice for 4th and 5th raging throughout the race, eventually separated by something like 30 seconds come the end of play. Ron Opperman, always on the cheese, always on the numbers, rocked his way inside of a number 3 ride once again. So solid in those first couple of laps, and then just runs consistent pace throughout the rest of the racing day. Spare a thought from him as well. He was something like 10 seconds off the back wheel of eventual second place runner Rickers Annandale, showing how close things were in that tight battle. And once again, that little chasm jump giving some nice options to the riders and great spectator value on the edge of the pits. Ian Minot got the whole shot numbers and stretched his legs out front. No one saw anything but his back wheel throughout the rest of the day as he converted the whole shot into a solid set of laps. S2 amateurs, where once again good numbers on the page, great gate and elbows up racing. George Hill 3 laps under his belts, as well as Ben Vessels making the show, getting his way inside of a top 6. Stefan Labuskakny, so strong in the lowland sections, got himself on a 3 honey and starting to enjoy his time out there working the wheel and enjoying the hair scrambles. Number 5 spot for Big Steph. 4th place for Dennis van der Merwe, also made a name for himself over the last few years racing on the flatlands and starting to enjoy the format that is hair scramble racing. A little bit more 50-50, more flow trail, less swinging off the back. Van der Merwe inside number 4 and another yammy. Lots of yammies on the S2 amateur gate, where Dirkie Kutsia brought his smoker up into a number 3 spot. Bert Moe, one of the champions of Farm Jam since the very early days, back out there racing on the Dirt Tracks facility. Bert Moe, 2nd place, showing the kids what it's all about. Experience definitely can pay the bills. But it was the yammy of Warren Shapiro who danced and launched his way around the track. The only rider on the S2 amateur gate to stay on a 5-lap. That's the pro lap lead count, showing that he is the man to beat on this category for sure. And the S1 amateurs, these are the guys on the big bikes, predominantly out there racing on 300 smokers. Where Joris Theron and Pierre Piens were down there in a 7 and 8, where Bronson Engelbrecht climbed the ladder and made it onto the show into a number 6. And Leonard dos Santos was a little bit higher up the road from him, around about 3.5 minutes to the green, and worked his way inside of a top 5. Byron Edwards brought out the big Gas 450. That would have been a handful on this kind of track, but he seemed to enjoy taking the big tractor around this course. Edwards, definitely a championship player to watch out for. Jacques Oosthuizen, also Gas, but this time on the 300 style. Lighter machine just to sling around. A slightly easier day on the handlebars. Third place gives Jacques Oosthuizen one of his best rides of the season. The man to watch out for in the championship is definitely going to be Frans de Klerk. The big Viking, always solid and consistent as ever. Taken multiple wins on the season so far, but this time around had to bow down to the speed and agility of Kai Lieblinkoff. Kai takes his first ever gate at the Farm Jams, and with it, his first ever win as well. The kid was on pro lap pace, and he put the hurt on Big France. Let's go through our amateur categories with Lieblinkoff on the top step, hammering the nail on de Klerk, Oosthuizen, Edwards, dos Santos, and Engelbrecht. Into the S2 amateurs, where Warren Shapiro danced the big YZ up the road, the only rider to stay on the pro lead lap with 5 laps ahead of Mo, Kutsia, Van der Merwe, and Labuschagne. Ian Minnaar danced at the front of the gate, putting over 4 minutes into Annandale, Opperman, Geyser, Van Niekerk, and De Wet. Let's climb the ladder now as we move forward into our age group categories. The Grand Masters has been a huge story for Farm Jam for the last couple of seasons, and this year we're seeing new blood coming through. Ian Smith breaking out a freshie, getting onto the YZ250 FX and climbing up into a top 6. Dave Thompson, one of the championship players, into a number 5. He seems to have been on the show more than not, so he's going to be climbing the ladder in his championship challenge as well. His good buddy Evan Hull danced his way inside of a top 4, loving the new race format of Farm Jam Hair Scrambles in 2024, and the fact that the Grand Masters get their own gate. Well over 10 riders out there seeing what they could do. Hull in a number 4 spot. Big Gary Whitehouse got the whole shot, but he cased out on the chasm jump on lap number 1. He was riding injured for the rest of the day, dropping himself down to 3rd place, but still in with championship aspirations as we go forward into the double points round in less than a month's time. Jostassen came into this round with fighting talk. He knew he needed a good gate, he needed the points, and he delivered. 2nd place, his best ride of the season so far to jump up on points. But Pierre Kutzer was the main dude to watch out for, and he takes his first Farm Jam win here at the very important penultimate round of the season. Congrats, Kutzer, for standing on the top step here at Sgt. Pepper's. Into the senior category, where once again it looks like return of pro category races. A lot of tasty dudes on the gate. Brett Preston and Davy Bennett were in the big dice for 7 and 8, with Theo Van Strijp getting himself on the show into a number 6 ride. 4 laps under his belt, and he wasn't slow at all. Yanni Potgieter in his comeback season, coming back from injuries and starting to figure things out once again, took out the big dog, a 500cc machine out there on this technical terrain. 5th place for himself, with Fergal McAdam, another rider out of the Bikers Warehouse Husqvarna squad. To be towing his way through to number 4. One of his best rides of the season as well. So great to see new blood coming in to the Farm Jams at almost every single round. It was the usual players inside of the top 3 once again though, with Carl DeToy, amazingly enough, surviving with a couple of broken toes. Not from this event, but from a previous event. So inside that booth there was all kinds of pain, but all kinds of smiles also for DeToy as he stays inside the top 3. DJ Milan dancing his machine all the way to a number 2 spot, just having a great time out there. And if it hadn't been for Barnyard, DJ would have walked away with a solid win on the season. But a classy rider came back to the family that is Farm Jam, where it all began for Dwayne Barnard racing out in the Mpumalanga area. It's something like 15 or 20 years of racing journey. He came back to the big show, walked away with a senior win as he gets himself ready to go forward and take on Dakar in 2025. We wish Barnard the very best of luck. Into the incredibly rarefied atmosphere of the top 6 for the Masters category, where Stephen Kutzer made his way inside of the top 6. Andre Mostert for Ancat Racing came out with a freshie, a 250 Yummy, with slightly stiff suspension for the day, but Mostert rode around it, got the job done, and probably one of his best rides of the season inside of a number 5 on his freshie. His good buddy, Porter, Joe Ashadina, getting it done inside of a number 4. Solid as ever, as always. But that bad start holding him back. Pierre Smith gated inside the top 3, ran laps inside the top 3, and finished 3rd place once again. First of the Yammies, showing what he can do on this type of terrain. Wayne Farmer got the big hole shot in the morning session and a huge crash on lap number 1 and injuries to his hand. Held his pace back, but he was still good enough to rocket inside of a number 2 before heading off to get a couple of stitches in his fingers. So he rode out of his skin to stay on the back wheel of Jesper Liblinkoff. If you remember, Liblinkoff came into Farm Jam Racing last season and was the only rider to be able to run the pace of Farmer. It was the same situation out here today at Sgt. Pepper's, where the big German got the job done once again.
Hey, Big Dolph, sounds like you made some friends out there.
Oh, wow, what a race, eh? I think it was more technical than the last time I was here, and yeah, Wayne got in front of me. Great start from him, and then he was just flying. He opened a big gap. Unfortunately, he had an off on the first technical climb, and I got past him, and then I kept looking over my shoulder. I knew he was coming, and yeah, I actually had to ride out of fear, and I just kept saying, keep it together and don't fall off, and you should be okay. But yeah, I can see he closed the gap on me, so hats off to him. He rode a great race.
Tell me what it means to you to ride with a lighty, because it's the first time you've done it at one of these events.
Yeah, fantastic. He came past me, and he's been doing mountain biking, not so much enduro riding, but yeah, the fitness and the talent is coming through. Eh? He just needs to recognize it came from my gene pool.
Andre, bud, nice way to break in suspension, eh?
Yeah, that was all right. Thank you, bud. Yeah. No, I'll definitely take us in for a lekker setup. Bike went lekker, track was awesome, but yeah, the suspension ate me up, dude.
King Carl, tell me about your day, because I know you're riding with a bit of a spaghetti foot.
Yeah, it was tough, eh? I see the voice is gone. It was good fun.
Good fun indeed. Liblinkoff on the top step once again, with Farmer toughing it out into a number 2 ahead of Smitty, Ashadina, Mostert, Kutzer, Mulcahy, just outside of the big numbers. Into the seniors, Barnyard. Dwayne Barnard gets his first Farm Jam win in many years, ahead of Milan de Toy, McAdam, Porchida, and Van Strijp. And into the Grandmasters, where Pierre Kutzer also gets his first win of the season, beating out on a resurgent Stassen, White House Championship leader in 3rd place. Where do we go now? We go into the Pro Gates. The big dogs going out there to rip the track apart for 5 laps of racing. S3 Pro category, always going to be everyone chasing down on the back wheel of Peltzer, but who was going to be able to run the rest of the numbers? Raymond Language, 8th spot for him. Werner Kleinhams into a number 7, with Taylor Shepard into a number 6, and Bevan Prost riding his way inside of a number 5 on the day. Everyone coming back with just massive grins on their faces. I said, one of the funnest layouts of tracks that they have ridden in years. Justin Rom, one of our junior upstart riders, working his way around the splits in the Chilean ice creams. Justin Rom and Mitch Fallon all over each other in the early laps until Fallon got the best of his mate, putting eventually 2 minutes into Rom to stand inside of the top 3. Remember, Fallon and Rom, newbies coming out of the 85 categories from last season. Jerome Stubbs, a pre-season favorite, solid and consistent as ever, took his Axis machine up the road into a number 2 spot. But no one was getting onto the back wheel of Peltzer. Said he didn't have the perfect setup on his machine, choosing to go for a cross-country setup, so certainly the bike was a little bit harder than he wanted it to be, but he still got his win in category and still ran high in the overalls come the end of the day. S2 Pro category, one of the guys running inside the top 3 for the championship, Gav Young, tweaking his knee after lap number 1. He would have to sit the rest of the race out. Andrew Mustard, King Mullet from Ancat Racing, solid and consistent as always. 4th place for him. He'll have been happy enough with that to keep his name in the hat for the championship and stay on the lead lap. Betty's Vernon Nordia, one of his best rides at the Farm Jams here, showing that he is putting in the work, putting a lot of training and testing into his technical side of riding. One of the stories of the day in the S2 Pro category, coming off his best ever GXCC ride a couple of weeks back for the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad, Brendan Kutzer rolled out his 350 and incredibly enough walked away with 2nd place on the category and inside the top 10 in the overalls. But it was Tyrone Peltzer on the fast KTM that just hammered the nail on the competition, caught up to the leaders on lap number 1, made the passes, took the win in category and overall. He took the checkers once again. Wow, Peltzer's on a burner. Calvin Tunes inside of the top 6, just beating out on Trevor Bland and Vernon Lowe. And then another big story on the day, inside of a number 5, racing with all the kids. Marco Kochi-san brings out the big Shimwell's Yamaha 450, gets onto the S1 Pro gate, and once again finishes with the kids inside of the top 5. He just loves to get out there and go racing. Ruan Smith on the Ancat Racing 300 KTM, gated inside of the top 2, losing out 2 positions throughout the race to eventually walk away with 4th, but the pace is definitely coming back to Smitty. Ruben Peters has been on fire this season, racing something like 5 championship tours this year, every weekend on the cable and every weekend on the podium. The Bikers Warehouse Husky rider in a number 3 spot, staying within sight of the race leaders. In fact, staying within a minute of John Buerter and Devin Smith, who once again were rubbing paints, rubbing plastics, and burning rubber the whole way through the day. This has been the story of the season, where Devastator and Buerter are never far away from each other out there on the track. Once again, it came down to not minutes, but seconds, where Devastator got the win in the S1s ahead of Johnny B. This is one heck of a championship.
Dev Budge, that was not an easy day at the office, eh?
No, that was really hard today. Well done to John Buerta. Yes, he made me tired today.
What about Peltzer, man? He was all over it.
Yes, Peltzer as well. I don't know how that guy with the 4-stroke do the rocks, but he's amazing with it. And well done to all the guys.
Kochi, as I like to say, tell us your story.
Oh, what a lekker day out there. Very bumpy. Not exactly what I expected. So yeah, it was rough. But it was in your face. It was gnarly. This first few Ks here, it was like a good old enduro. Then we went on to the other side of the highway, and it was a beautiful hair scramble. So really well laid out course. Fantastic setup. I mean, Farm Jam, all the guys, Leon, Ruan, everybody, they did such a fantastic job. I mean, the guys in the pits didn't have too much work to do today, but I mean, Shimwells and Yamaha, I mean, they gave me a fantastic package. So yeah, happy with the day's results.
Ty, we've seen you do this before, but you had to work for that one, eh?
Yes, it was hard out there. The boys were pushing me hard. I had to really give it everything I had to get past the boys, and they were pushing and keeping up with me. So yeah, but yes, this track was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Did she hold up? Because I mean, the pace you guys are running, it had to run up and blow this track apart.
Yes, I don't think I would have done another lap. I couldn't hold on anymore. My hands were so sore. So I'm happy we just did 5. But yeah, yes, this track was physically demanding.
Shout out to Devastator and Johnny Boy, kept you on it.
Yeah, yes he did, yeah. But yeah, luckily this fast KTM didn't skip a beat today. My TBR suspension was beautiful, and these Pirelli tires are top notch.
Brian, a busy day, but a close day. I mean, top 5s now. You guys are separated by like less than a minute.
Yeah, I have no idea where I am overall. But yeah, I could see the guys slowly catching up to them. And but it was a good day. I think I might not have the right bike for this today, but it was still a lot of fun.
You were buzzing last time. You said this is why you come racing. This was a harder push today. I can see it.
Yeah, but still a lot of fun. I mean, you don't get this anywhere else, and the mixed terrain and all that's just a lot of fun.
How did the track hold? Did she hold together? It looked like she was blowing up.
Very, very cool. Some ruts and things forming, so I loved it.
Justy, we're going to go straight in here. You've just finished round number 4 of the Farm Jams. Tell me about your day, bro.
It was really good and really nice track. Really nice and short hair scramble. Yeah, it was lacquer. Had a lacquer ride with me and my boy Mitch over there, and yeah, had a few falls, but we got back up and we hit it straight away.
I see you've been working on the speed, man. It's definitely paying off.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm trying my best, but yeah, when it gets a bit in the tech as well. But yeah, it's been a lacquer ride.
Shout out to Coach.
Yeah, shout out and also Shan. So Shannon to Blanche as my enduro, and Matthew Berger. But yeah, it was very lucky.
Confirmation of our pro category numbers on the page. Devin Smith ahead of Buerta and Peters. Look how close the times were. Beating out on Smitty and Kochi, with Tunis inside of a top 6. S2 Pros gave us also the winner in the overalls on the day, and that was Tyron Peltzer. He's on a burner this season, beating out on Kotze, Nordia, Mostert, and Young. Young with that tweaked knee is going to be a question mark for the final round. S3 Pros, Peltzer gets it done once again ahead of Stubby, putting the hurt on Fallon, Rom, Prost, and Shepard. That was round number 4 of the Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship Racing Tour in 2024 at the classic race venue of Sgt. Pepper's. We hold our breath as in just under 4 weeks' time we go racing once again. That'll be round number 5 of the season, a double points round out at Buxie's on the 30th of August. That is going to be where we crown all of our champions for Farm Jam 2024. All this Farm Jam Hare Scramble racing action was proudly brought to you by Vans Racing, in association with VW Mastercars Hatfield, Stack Ups, V3 Designs, ANCAT Engineering, and SVR Innovations. Okay, so as you can see, it was an absolute banger. We absolutely loved that event, and I know you guys did as well. So that marks their penultimate round. So literally in 3 weeks' time, we are going farm jamming once again out at where we finished off the season last year, and that wrapped things up out at Sungitty. It's literally out the back door of Middelburg. If you guys are traveling from Joburg or Pretoria, it's very, very close by. So make sure you get out there. And remember, it is a double points round as well. With it being a short 5-round championship, they throw a double points event at the end. So make sure you get your entries in for that. And me and the boys, of course, will be there making you guys Hollywood famous. What else is coming up? Well, in just 2 weeks' time, we've got the, what is it? Not the penultimate round, but round number 6 of the GXCCs out in Delmas. Not quite sure which side of Delmas we're going to be working on, but I know Vianney's got his hands on an absolute monstrous farm out there. So he's got plenty of choices, and I know he's going to give us some incredible racing as well. That's going to mark GXCC round number 6 of their 8-round championship. Of course, coming up this weekend, we're going to be talking about the fact that the guys are going to go out there to Uppington for a doubleheader for the national cross countries. So there's a hell of a lot going on in the racing month of August. So hang in there and start swinging off the back. It seems like we haven't stopped racing for months and months on end. It's been an insane jam-packed calendar, and there's still plenty more to come. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry for being a little bit late. We'll get back on point as we go forward into the racing month of August. And as always, we'll see you on the line.